everybody. Welcome to Wither and Bloom Studios. My name is Todd, your Dungeon Master, and we are going to have a session here tonight. You guys ready to play?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Even though technically we're not playing tonight. We're having a long discussion. We're going to be talking about stuff. This is our first foray into actually going live with this channel. We're kind of excited about it, although I am sure it is not going to be without its issues. So bear with us if we have them. We're going to work on making this better every single time. But welcome. We're excited to have you here. So, a couple other things to sort of get down to business on before we begin. One, we're probably not going to be paying attention to the chat while we're playing our game. However, when we go on break, we will. So some of us will probably stay at the table. We'll talk to you in chat. And I think that's going to be great. So don't worry, we will get to you eventually. Also, over time, we have some ideas for how to build in actually bringing you, the audience, into our game and having you help us make decisions. So we're also really excited about that. So stay tuned for more of that. Should we go around the table and do some introductions?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Eric, you want to start us off?
Sure. Hey, I'm Eric Fiorito, and I love playing D&D. I'm an old jackass who just likes to have fun with his friends, pretending to be other people and figuring out a little something about me in the process. I don't know. How far do we want to get into this right now? You want to
What do you do for your job?
Yeah,
What's your job?
what do I do for my job? In my day gig, I'm a technical director for a local community arts center, and I do all kinds of geeky lighting, sound, projection, audio, all that fun stuff. And I also build sets for a local high school. Currently working on Big Fish.
Nice.
Big fish?
It's a big fish with lots of other things happening. So, it's got me, really excited to make things.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very good.
My set. Yeah.
Oh, my turn.
Yeah.
My turn.
Do it.
That's how it goes, yeah.
Name's Garret, I like playing D&D, I guess, with these goof heads.
You can call us chodes. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Say that on live, yeah.
sure. I mean, we're a bunch of idiots. We just like to have a good time. What?
Speak for yourself.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, we're really reasonably intelligent idiots, but
Sure.
we act like idiots and have fun.
We
with
act
each other.
like idiots most of the time.
It's true.
We laugh like
We're
idiots.
playing make-believe.
Yeah. No, it's fun. Family, friends, gathering.
Okay.
Third space.
What?
Third
Rich.
space.
Third space.
Rich, you want to
Oh, just skip over my job. My job.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if you were going to
It's fine. No.
No, what do you do
You were
for
spending an
work?
awful lot of time getting there.
Are we doing our bios?
Oh.
Click.
Wow.
Let's simmer.
No, my job doesn't matter.
It
I'm
matters.
just an idiot.
No,
No, it matters to me.
No,
Say
it's
it.
like the diversity at this table.
No, I full-time job would be I build high-end, classic cars, resto mods, restore cars, repair cars, stuff like that.
Nice.
Got an awesome set of tools.
I got a lot of fucking tools.
Interesting. Well, thanks,
Rich,
Garret.
you can have it now. Now that we got through that. I'm sorry if I took too long.
Yeah, sorry you guys had to go through that.
Oh my God.
Shade throw.
I love you. God. You're my favorite.
Wow.
Hi, I'm Rich, and I love playing D&D. Is one of my favorite parts of my week, and these are some of my favorite people, and this is a great time. During my day job, I'm an actor.
Professional actor.
You put professional in front of it. Listen, I wasn't going to be as pretentious.
Yikes.
But yes, I'm an actor, and I love it. And yeah. Nathan.
Sweet. I'm Nathan. I also, if you'd believe it, love playing D&D, but also Daggerheart.
Oh,
I can't shut up about it.
you're a
You
sh-
loved
you're a
it
shit.
too.
I'm gonna
You
back you
loved
up on
it
that.
too.
I'm going to back you up.
Daggerheart's great.
Daggerheart's fucking
amazing.
awesome. I just
really wanna
recorded
play
a
it.
video on it too, so
We're working on it.
watch.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm a student. I'm a college student studying computer science. I'm all about that science and math. And then I come and have fun trying to act. And into varying degrees of success, and I love
You
it.
succeed. I'd say
Thank you.
you've succeeded.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, Olivia.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I think I'm going to be a little bit different. Instead of saying I love playing D&D, I'm just going to say I love playing all tabletop role-playing games.
Oh, she's in
Hell yeah. Good stuff.
well played.
Yeah, come on. For my day job, if you could say that, I'm a filmmaker, specifically a writer and director. So I kind of get to bring that a little bit to my D&D with my character building. But so that's me.
Woo. Sweet. Oh, me now.
So good.
I'm Atticus. I use they, them pronouns. I am also here just because I love TTRPGs, D&D, all that fun stuff. If it involves dice, chances are I'm down. I too am a student. I'm a college student studying theater. Kind of acting, but also branching off into other kind of like theater as a whole, like as a concept. It gets weird sometimes. Sometimes I understand it, sometimes I'm kind of just going with the flow. And that kind of also is how I'm approaching D&D with these goofballs, which is a lot of fun. We're going with the flow, and we're playing, and we're having a great time. I'm just here to have a great time.
Woo, nice. Nice. My name's Todd, and I am the DM. I'm kind of one of those forever DMs. I also play a variety of tabletop role-playing games, including Daggerheart and others. I've been at this since, well, I'm not going to be one of those guys. I've been playing this a long time. This type of gaming grabbed me when I was a little kid, and you can tell I'm not that little kid anymore. So,
Yeah, Todd and I are the old fuckers.
yeah, we're the old guys.
No, we wouldn't say that.
I know.
We would think
Okay.
it, but we wouldn't say it.
Oh, all right.
I think I can say it.
But I will say that, in my full-time job, I'm an artist, particularly a sculptor, and I teach full-time as a college professor at a local college, and I love it. I love teaching my students, and I love the way all of these worlds collide, where you can bring creativity together with the worlds of tabletop role-playing games and make them amazing. So that's what's in it for me. I love that. I'm excited to do session 0 tonight. So a little bit of history for what we've been up to. If you're new to our channel, we've been playing for about a year now, and we've been making videos on YouTube for not quite a year. So our subscriber count is, sub 1,000. And by the way, if you're out there and you haven't subbed yet, please do it, because we just love doing what we do, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. But we've been at this for a little less than a year, and all the while we have been making recorded content. We sit down, we play, we record everything, we edit it, we chop it up. And we thought it was time we took it live for a number of reasons, which we don't necessarily have to get into, but we're hoping that it's fun for you. Now, for those of you that are out there in the audience, we probably won't interact with the chat at first. We'll do it on the break, and then we may do it a little bit after we're done. But we want to stay true to the game. We really want to play the game and not necessarily deal with, some of the distractions. Some of our videos that we've shown in the past are a lot about immersiveness and immersive role play and kind of eliminating distractions. So yeah, we're surrounded by cameras and microphones right now, and at some point during the break, we have a camera that shows the whole studio, so you'll get to see that, which is kind of cool. But for now, we love that you're here. We thank you for being here, and we are going to talk to you on that break. But for now, why don't we get into our plan for tonight, because this is a session 0 for our season 2 called Rising. It is, some of us are returning with the same characters, some of us are returning with new characters. So we kind of have to get into that a little bit. Mm-hmm. How did you guys feel about last year and the game last year? Should we start there? Is that a good place to begin?
I think so, yeah. How do you want to do this?
You really just said that?
Wow. Good one. Good one, Rich. Good one,
We're
buddy.
Wither and Bloom, and we're a bunch of nerdy.
Oh my God.
No.
How do we want to do
Can't
this?
do that.
I thought the first season was pretty cool.
Cool.
I think, we did. I just want to clarify one thing, that we have been playing together for longer than a year.
A lot longer than
a lot longer than a
Yes.
year. So, but this last year, Emberfell, I think, really kind of took it to a different level for us.
Yeah.
You know, like we played Strahd for a really long time, and what's nice about Emberfell is the level of detail and the vivacity of this homebrew world and campaign. And I gotta give credit where credit is due to Todd, because our session 0 when we first started playing in Emberfell started with the solar system, and that always sticks with me right here, because to me that's you are getting everything and considering everything in this world, and I thought that we really kind of delved into that really well, and I enjoyed that tremendously. And the other thing about that I really liked is the way that you approached it and inviting us all in to consider our origin points, our places of origin, where we grew up, where we lived, and kind of color that in a way that was much more collaborative than a typical module where it's this is what the caves look like, this is what that happens. We felt like we had a little bit more ownership in how the world kind of developed a little bit over that last year.
Well, that's that's one of the ways I like to be a DM, is that each of you is obviously going to come from someplace in the world, and I like to give you the authority over making that space and describing that town, and then I put your town on the map. I don't make that town, you do. You are going to know who the NPCs are in that town and who the shopkeepers are and the lineages. So I love that about that. I'm glad I'm glad you're into that.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that. Super cool.
So, who else? What did you think of last year?
I would love to take this and run, because this has been my first campaign, ever. They've been playing together for forever. This is my first campaign. I mean, I did 1 or 2 one-shots prior to this, but I've never played a tabletop role-playing game before this group, before this campaign, and coming in and not knowing how do I make a character? What freedoms do I have? And what am I doing when I sit down to play? And Todd sat with me for several days, a month, the month before we even started. I think this was before you even, I don't even remember when, but walking me through who's this character that you want to make, and then I just throw ideas at him and he'd be oh, I could fit that in here and I could fit that in here, and creating pieces of the story as it was coming together then. And then even as I created ideas throughout the past year, Todd would be tell me more about this, because I would love to put this into the world. It's been such a wonderful experience so far, and I've loved it so much, and I've learned so much. But I'm a little sad that I don't have the appreciation for how good it is compared to other games.
You're spoiled.
I am totally fucking spoiled.
Yeah. Wow, that's nice.
You
guys shouldn't be doing this to me right now.
But
Look at how tomato he's getting.
No, it's not even the light.
Blaze them up.
Just wait.
You know what you're doing.
Fit through the door.
You are setting a very high bar for this live stream.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna be wow, this guy must be great. I can't wait to watch this.
Be
Just
excited.
wait, we're gonna tear you down after we compliment.
Yeah.
Start playing
It's
it
a
all
compliment
turns into
sandwich. We have to be really nice, then really mean, and then really nice. So that's
kind of how we have.
There's always that rotting
Yeah.
bit that you bite into.
Yeah.
Are you gonna provide the rotting bit?
I mean,
yeah.
You brought it up, so chances are good.
Yeah.
Can I give you my part of the Oreo of the sandwich?
I would love your part of the Oreo sandwich. Please do.
Oh boy.
I think that this season in particular, this past year, there was an immense sense of freedom. I never felt like I was restrained, or I never felt like I couldn't do what my character felt like they would do in the moment. And you were really willing to, be spontaneous and in the moment with us, and it was really freeing. And that was a different experience than playing something like Strahd, which we played before, or something. There was nothing else like it. It was awesome.
I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Well, what about? Okay, so good. I love you guys. I love all of you, and I appreciate your words really a lot. And what I really want to get down into is the story, right? Let's talk about the storytelling and Wait, Eddie, you got something?
It's about the story, so you finish, and then I'll
Then I'm
jump on.
going to go right to you.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, I really would like to dig into the story, and number one, we should probably recap for people that are new a little bit of that story. We don't have to do the whole thing. One thing I will do is I'm going to make a series of video shorts that are going to get you caught up. So if you're new here and you're starting out in season 2, don't worry. We're going to get you caught up to speed on who these characters are, what this world is, and where they're going, and what the objectives are. So we'll get you there. But I want to know where I fell down. I want to know where my mistakes were, how I can do better. I'm not sure if that's where you were going to go, Andy, but why don't you take it away?
So, kind of in thinking about the story and where it was going, what directions it was taking, was something that I've been thinking about a lot coming into this. Because, and I know a conversation that we've had, and that especially you and I have had, where we've kind of been feeling like in certain points in the story, it's like, okay, who are we, where are we, what are we doing? What is our goal? Because especially there was a grand part of that season where we were kind of, as a party, jumping from side quest to side quest, and I don't know if any of us really knew what the main plot was. Sometimes there were sessions where we were really getting involved with like the rivalry between the Velvet Sky and the True Children, and we were like, oh my god, is Todd gonna drop us into the middle of a cross-continental war? What? And then we went off and did something else, or went off and did another side quest. And kind of trying to piece together the possibility of a linear story was a lot, especially when we were jumping back and forth between different groups. Like when everyone went ahead and got the Velvet Sky tattoo and then immediately was like, okay, let's follow and go right into the forest and go and meet the druids that we are tattooed against. Like, it was a lot of spontaneousness that wasn't contained in a thread.
Yeah.
Like,
can I jump in real quick?
100%.
So I think that, and I think a lot of the DMs out there and the GMs will understand this, is when we world build and when we kind of like try to create something that starts in the solar system and it has this grandiosity to it, we have big plans, obviously, right? But then you are all squishy level 1. And so I was realizing that if I were to drop you into the middle of an intercontinental war, or at least the tension that's brewing for that war, having you be level 1 or 2 was like just not reasonable. And so I think one of the reasons, and don't get me wrong, I'm probably a little defensive here, but I don't need to be, because I know that I sent you off on too many things, and Garrett's been great at telling me how we need to wrap up some of these side quests. But I was trying to get you into a much more sort of appropriate level from which to operate from. But definitely point heard, and I would like to be a little bit more linear this season with how we roll, for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking about, like, because the thing about side quests is that they can make up a really great structure, especially when you're going by location. Something that I noticed we were doing a lot was we were going back and forth between different places. We started out, we're at Blackthorn Keep, and then we dipped into North Veritas, and we're hanging out there. We hit the notice board. We were looking at some we were
totally, what kind of jobs can we do?
We were like
the
rats.
Old man.
The rats, baby.
The rats was brutal.
Burned down that poor lady's house.
Oh yeah, because the thing
Is she dead?
Libluna.
Wait, we might not know.
No, yeah.
How much more metagame could you
Are you
get?
nuts?
We don't know.
Jeez, dude.
We don't know if we're ever going back there.
Whatever.
You'll find out.
Go back and ask. Either way.
No way I'm giving that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either way. What's cool about side quests and a local narrative? What's cool is that you can have chapters of a story and side quests also tied to locations. Something that I kind of take advantage of when I run games, because I'm also a DM, for those who don't know that are watching. Oh my god. I could just stop talking.
I know. I'm just giving my kid shit. That's all.
Yeah.
Let him cook.
Whatever the case may be, something that I like to take take inspiration from is the idea of the starting town. Sort of like a Witcher 3 White Orchard kind of a thing. You're dropped into this location, there's a small local story, and then you get a plot hook that takes you out of that and into a more vast world. So when we had that at the very start of season 1, we were dropped into a large city. So there was a lot of things that we could do. And then we find out about the Velvet Sky. That could have been something to take us either further into North Veritas or out of North Veritas, and then just pursuing that narrative. So I don't know. It could. Yeah.
I have like a point that kind of goes with what you're saying, but it's also mildly a segueing point with relation to what we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
I think something that us as a party not struggled with, but potentially lacked in this season, that I know that we've all talked about wanting to work on for next season, is the party dynamic was kind of confusing in season 1, and I feel like if we established our dynamic and what our goals as a group were, it would have helped with the unnecessary side quests. Not that they were unnecessary, but just the amount of them that we picked. We didn't have like, oh, this is what our group stands for, this is what we want to do, and this is how we all work together, let's
100%,
follow.
100%.
And because we didn't have that, we did absolutely everything. Where like we may have gotten pitched a job and we would have been like, no, we don't stand for what you're doing. We don't want that job, and we wouldn't have done that.
Well, and there were also personal interests in what
Right.
things were chosen, right?
Yeah.
And so no, and I love that comment, and I think that is something that I've struggled with and I feel like it's my fault as a DM when I can't get my players to bond and come together sometimes. And so that's something I want to work on this coming year, is to really establish what you guys stand for, how you all know each other and care about each other. I think that's really important.
But what I want to take a counterpoint moment for a second and say that I think that what builds some intrigue is that we're all kind of learning our own characters and playing to those characters' strengths and weaknesses. And by going out on all these different side quests, what I loved about the game for the first season was that I would say a good 60 to 70% of the time, we were like, what the actual F are we doing right now? Mm-hmm. Like, we're flipping from one side to the next, and then we're making alliances. But we were all learning about the world that we were in. We were learning about these political structures, the way things were going on. Like, it felt like we were actually trying to figure out our place in the world.
Yeah.
And we were figuring out our place in the world together, how we interact. And I feel like if we started off in level 1 and we're like, this is what we stand for, this is who we are, this is what we do, go team.
Yeah.
There would have been like this lack of authenticity that for me, you know, like, Thrud was a cranky bitch a lot of the time, and that's kind of her deal.
But
Yeah.
Seriously,
Seriously is-
like I love doing like what you're saying, but it's like we can take all of that we learned in season 1 and be able to go into this next season in more of like a collective headspace.
Yeah,
I don't think we would have a successful season 2 if we didn't do what we did in season 1.
Right.
I don't think what we did in
yeah.
season 1 was bad. It's just now it gives us that chance to kind
We're
of
growing.
grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I think that's all really, really. I think that's really important information about getting started. And I know I said I wasn't going to respond to things in the chat, but there is some chatter in the chat about how to strategies for doing that. One of which we are going to do tonight, and that is when we start to begin to talk about how you guys do interrelate. But let's get caught up on the end of season 1, because the end of season 1 had a fairly large, big bad battle.
Yo, that was nuts.
That was good, right?
So fun.
Yeah, it was
that
good.
was so
It was
fun.
really wild.
And
super good.
I think one of the things that I want to sort of throw in here that I think is important is that That battle ended with all of you falling into a sort of hallucinogenic fugue state from a poison that was released. Yes.
Can I just jump in here?
Yes,
And
please.
I think, can you give an overarching, brief, bullet-pointed description
Of the whole campaign?
I think.
Sure.
I mean, not saying that you
can
have
do
to
it.
get into the granular level,
Nope.
but I feel like if someone's coming into this and this is the first time that they're seeing us,
Yep.
give a nice little overview.
Let's do it.
so that we can then.
Spark notes.
And,
do
because
spark
we could
notes.
talk about that last battle, and without
Nobody's really going to know what it
any of
is.
the
Nobody's
other
gonna
points,
care.
right?
I mean, yeah.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
let's-
Yeah.
Mistakes.
That's true. Okay, so in a nutshell, if I can do this in a nutshell, let me see if I can do this in a nutshell. The party was brought together all as prisoners. They sort of all met in a large keep where they were being held as prisoners. And the sort of head of that, for what they knew, was a guy named Crix Lockfinger. He was a goblinoid boss who worked for a very large faction that they had to figure out. Okay, they make an escape, there's a lot of explosions, and they wind up in one of the largest cities on the continent named North Veritas. They head back to that city, they engage in some adventures, and along the way they learn about a couple of these factions. So first of all, they all know that the world that they're in, which is Atania, has 3 continents, 2 of which are key to the story right now. The continent they are on is called Emberfell, and the continent adjacent to them is called Afari. And Afari and Emberfell are really tense right now. The key reason for this is sort of a creation myth, and it is sort of a story of a kind of cult, for lack of a better word. But a couple hundred years ago, there's this guy, he's a demigod, his name is Calagenia, and he had a calling. The entire world's energy sources around the worlds of magic are run by a mycelial network, and that mycelial network communicates under the ground. Certain druidic peoples have a good sense of that communication. Calagenia was called to by this mycelial network, particularly by one of the hearts. Each of the continents has a heart. That heart sort of imbues the mycelial network with its energy and also functions as a communications hub. Calagenia thought it was his calling to dig up the heart that was in Afari, which is where he was from, the continent we are not on right now. He dug up the heart of the Vassarine, that was its name. He stole it and he took it to Emberfell because he believed that's what his calling was. He went deep into the Sylvanvale Forest, which is a forest in the south central location of Emberfell, and he buried it in the ground there, close to the heart of Lotusia, which is the heart that belongs to the Emberfell continent. The 2 hearts beating side by side underground in this mycelial network created an incredible agricultural power. That power caused the sort of greenery and agriculture in Emberfell to explode. And all of a sudden you have a continent that is rich in food, lush greenery everywhere you look. And simultaneously, Afari dies. The continent goes into a desert world. The trees die, and the people subsequently begin to starve. Now, politically, you have a connection between Emberfell and Afari, where Emberfell provides sanctions to the Afari people in the form of food. Massive wagon trains of food travel from Emberfell to Afari on a regular basis. The Afari people are pissed. Rightfully so. Terrorist groups have popped up, various army factions have popped up because they know, or at least they suspect, that Calagenia stole that heart and they want it back. They made pleas to the Emberfell governments of North Veritas and Amakora to basically say, we want to extradite Calagenia and bring him back to Afari and we want that heart brought back here. Emberfell was like, I don't know if that's even real, but it's really doing something great for our economy, so no. We're not going to send him back to you. And now you've got 2 continents that are really heavily tensed. Now, Crix Lockfinger, the gentleman in the beginning of our story that had our party prisoner, was part of a faction that belongs to the Afari continent. What they're doing is they are stealing resources from Emberfell and shipping them over to Afari to build a force, a weapons force, an army itself that looks like it might unleash itself on Emberfell. So Crix was going to sort of take these guys by force and enslave them to help him out in his endeavors. But they escaped. They faced him off in the last session of this showdown where he was trying to call them back to work for him, and there were some other little details in there that you can find out later on down the road. But ultimately,
Horn reaping.
What's that?
Horn reaping.
Horn reaping. That's
So
an
much
interesting
horns.
part of the story. A lot of horns. Crix Lockfinger has a thing for cutting off people's horns. But that being said, in this battle, when Crix Lockfinger realized that his life was in danger, because it was, and ultimately the party did defeat him, he was able to unleash a trap that was in the tower that they were visiting to try and find a different part of the story. And that trap unleashed a spore content from the cone of Lotusia in massive quantities, which would have essentially overdosed the party into a fugue state, an unconscious state. And in that state, I gave the party the option. I said, listen, first of all, they all had to roll Constitution saving throws. And after the turning in of a couple of inspiration coins, everyone made their saves. But I gave them the option. I said, you can live or you can die. And since you all passed, if you live and keep your character, you will have something positive that happens to you from this exposure to the Cone of Lotusia. Or you could die, and you could develop a new character. And that character will have a connection through the mycelial network to your old character, so you two can communicate with one another. And that's where we left off. So it took us a year to get that far, and I left out a lot of detail. There's a lot of backstory for our characters, but that's basically it.
That was great.
I really enjoyed that.
Okay.
I love
He's
that.
a professor.
No, yeah.
You paint a picture, my boy.
All that.
Thank you.
Sub
I'm
six.
sure I left a lot out. I left
Sub-six.
You
everything.
did,
Six.
but you left the stuff that you left out was good to
You were
be
really
left out.
quick to say that. You did. You
No, yeah, you left a lot out, but the stuff that you left out was stuff that is best
the fuck's
experienced
Yeah, you didn't talk
by
about Colin.
her.
Who the fuck is
We don't need to
Colin's
talk
not
about
important.
Colin.
Colin's
Colin was in one episode.
Fuck is Colin?
Whoa.
Hey,
Nobody gets that joke, you guys. You keep
right.
saying
This
it.
is an inside
Nobody-
joke.
Okay, go watch
That
it
stuff.
back.
You don't have to.
freaking blood hunters.
So anyway, so I'm curious, since this is a session 0, we should talk about typical session 0 stuff. So we can start out with your player expectations. Like, what do you want from this game this year? What are you looking to get? Go ahead.
Should we go around in a circle?
Well, Rich was
we'll
raising
go
his
around in a
hand.
circle. We'll start with Mama Thrud.
I didn't know the question.
I want to continue to tell an amazing tale. Like, I want to have a part in creating this bond between a bunch of travelers in the midst of this insane world on the brink of war. And I want to see how our collective dynamic influences that large war. There's like the shots heard around the world, right? Like, are we going to have that moment where we tip off some mad ass shit? And how do we deal with that? And I'm super excited to figure that all out. And there are some other things that I would like my character to be able to explore and develop a little bit.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Garrett, what do you want to see this year?
Oh shit, me.
Yeah, it's you.
I mean, I'm kind of going to go with Eric that, I've been enjoying telling this story that we've been telling. I definitely want to continue on that. We kind of briefly touched on it before, but trying to figure out how the group dynamic can get better, which I think we all might feel that way, to figure out a plan as to what we're doing. Because like Addie was talking about earlier and Olivia was talking about a little bit, that we're just kind of a little bit all over the place and we don't really know what the hell we want to do.
And it's funny, as you're saying this to me, I'm realizing that we have not revealed yet whether or not we're continuing to play our old characters or if we're bringing in new ones, because my knee-jerk reaction was to ask you something to do with your old character, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to proclaim to know what you're up to. So
No,
we'll
I
wait.
just think, like, as a group, I mean, we just go in any direction that it seems to pull us, whether it's with one faction or the other. And
Do you need me to railroad you?
I mean, maybe a little bit, but No, I just think we, as a party, we've never really talked about it.
Right.
Yeah,
no, I'm glad we are.
No, it's
In the the first season or whatever we want to call it, like Eric said, we were all new. We don't really know what the hell we're doing.
Right.
But now that if people are bringing back other characters, we know stuff. We've experienced stuff. Let's go in a certain direction.
Okay.
Yeah, and just getting deeper into the character that I'm playing.
Agreed. Agreed.
Nice.
Rich?
All right. I'm going to throw you a curveball here.
I love a curveball.
We've talked about this before, and I think this is something we agree on. I think that in season 1, there were a little bit of like training wheels on a little bit. You were pulling your punches a little bit. There were a few powerful DMPCs in the group. There was a little bit of like, no one's really
He didn't
afraid
pull
they're
his
going
punch
to
when
die.
he killed you.
Yeah, he
He
Why
pulled
don't we
it back.
Why don't we give this a little context for the audience?
did. Yeah, sure.
Right. So what Rich is referring to is I tried something new this year.
killed and left anyway.
I tried something new this year with this group because I wanted them to invest really deeply in their characters. And I didn't want there to be this willy-nilly sense of, hey, I'm getting tired of this, I'm going to kill it off and start something new. Mm-hmm. So I basically said that in this campaign, if you die, you're out of the game completely. And I thought, wow, what a badass I'm going to be. This is going to be great. I'm going to like really get them to invest. No, that was wrong. Because you know what happened as a result of that? I immediately became afraid to hit them too hard. Because the truth is, I don't want you to be out.
Yeah.
Right? I want to play with you guys. So we're going to retract that, but I think that's what you're getting at, right?
That's exactly what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know nobody wants to leave the table, and nobody should have to, but, we should fear a little bit for our lives.
True.
Well, I mean, I think that ultimately, if we have the right balance, I will say this. I think if you're afraid your character could die because you've invested in that character and you know you won't leave the table, right? But you know you might lose this new character, then we're set.
Yeah.
I won't be afraid to kill you. Good.
That sounds good to me.
Speaking of killing our characters, Nathan, you want to go next?
Wow.
That's so messed up.
Anyway, all right. Okay,
Squishy cannon.
Cersei did go down a lot.
Every episode.
Every
Not
every episode,
combat
and towards the end, she stood standing almost every time. Yeah,
Don't get defensive.
I'm going
yeah.
Ellen
No, I'm
now.
completely
You-
defensive of
you-
my girl Cersei. She's an ass, but I've got her back. All right.
You almost died in a river of poop.
All right.
Anyway.
Nathan talk.
Anyway.
Let Nathan talk.
So, what I really want to do this year, and I've spoken about this a lot on our podcast, I Cast Guidance, shameless plug. But I want to know my characters better. I feel like the characters I've played, I haven't really fully known who they are, if at all, and therefore I haven't been able to play them as consistently or as real as I would like. So my strategy for that is I have a solo RPG book that I just want to take my characters into this book and run them through scenarios and just like vet them, take them through the gauntlet, and then see who they are on the other side and see if I then know that person better. And that's what I'm doing for the character that I'm coming to the table with for this season. So I'm hoping it's better.
Nice.
You're
Nice. Olivia, what do you got?
I agree with Nathan with that point, and that's kind of what I was going to talk about a little bit, but I have less of expectations for season 2 as I do have more personal goals for my character
like that.
and like for the group as a whole. Like Nathan was saying, I feel like I need to understand my characters better and understand, like I need to really do deep dives into the classes and species and races that I play and see how I can do like change and do things a little differently than I have been doing, because I find myself stuck in a rut a lot of the time with my characters. So that's a big thing that I want to work on. And then going back to the point that we were talking about before, figuring out how that character fits with the group and the dynamics that that character has with other characters, because I feel like they can be very surface level, and I feel like I might not be the only one at the table that feels that way with their character. So I agree with like everything else that was said expectation wise for season 2. Those are just kind of the top of my personal goals.
Gotcha. That's great.
Do you mind if I just revisit?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, because like since we did have very similar things to say, and our characters, Circe and Remy, had a very close relationship during all of season 1.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense because I felt like they had a very surface level relationship,
And they
we
were
didn't.
almost the same character.
Yeah,
in certain
almost the
ways.
same character. Like they both kind of sucked, like as
Yeah.
people.
But wait, because like how old was Circe? Well, because Remy was like a younger character.
Yeah,
so
like
it's
19.
Like I felt like so
yeah.
that was probably the
Right.
too.
But like I feel like we didn't explore that relationship that our characters had because we didn't really know who our characters were.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I am excited to see where our characters go with each other as we know our characters better too. So
Very well said.
Yeah.
I try.
I kind of third some of that.
This whole segment.
No, yeah. Well, because the thing is like something that I was kind of noticing when it came to last season was that we were so focused on like moving together as a group and like doing all this, like doing all of this stuff that we didn't like when Todd would go like, all right, is there anything else that you guys want to do before you pack up camp and go on to your next destination? We were all kind of like, no, let's just go, rather than being like, all right, well, I'm gonna sit down at this campfire and have a talk with this character for a little bit and like role play that out.
Yes.
Like I think connecting in character is something that we can really strive for. And like Rich, when we were playing Tryphon and Breck, we kind of had some of those conversations out of game where I think something that that kind of stuck with me that you said was you were like, Breck has really like little brother energy. And I didn't think about Breck in that light. And then I started thinking about that more, and that influenced how I played Breck going forward. The conversations that we have with each other in and out of character influence how we play the character, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
I think also because it was talked about, death being a part of the story shouldn't be overlooked as it's a part of the story rather than a game mechanic.
Right.
Because I'm just going to use your death as an example. Because the thing was, when Tryphon died,
Spoiler alert.
we weren't recording at that
I
point.
think it's literally episode
It's like episode
3.
2.
It was episode 3. We did a recap of those first 4 episodes.
We did.
Or sessions, rather.
I forgot it was that early.
It's crazy.
But the thing was when that happened, the reaction of the table was Rich's character died, not Tryphon died.
It's true, yeah. Well, because we were also focused on me leaving the table. You know what I mean? Instead of like, you know what I mean?
But also because
he had a connected backstory, and I was like, well, there goes that.
yeah.
So, but all of the nitty gritty details aside, we weren't viewing that instance as our characters. We were looking at that as one of the players at our game table has taken a piece off the board. Now what?
Right. And that doesn't really have the investment in the character's backstory and presence that we want it to.
Yeah.
But it was also kind of shocking too, because we had like 3 sessions earlier designated that like if you die in the game you're out.
Yeah.
And so to have that be a real ramification 3 sessions in
Really right there.
was like, holy shit, now how do we deal with
Like,
this?
who's going to die
Like,
next
what does this-
week? Like,
Yeah, like what does this mean for this whole thing? You know, like because we were just starting to gain some traction and some steam in the story, and then you know, like
It makes me wonder though, like, what if Tryphon had died? How much would that have bonded the group through the loss?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
well, I mean, I think to some extent there was a bonding through that experience. You know, like
Definitely the breaking out of jail and stuff.
yeah,
Oh, that's true.
getting.
Well, and
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That early in the campaign, probably not much.
Yeah.
well, because and also
Like other than affecting Remy's character because you two had a connection.
Right.
Not to contradict what you were saying, but at that time it was like we don't know who this character is.
Well, you're
Because
right.
We came into the game pretty much none of us having a connection.
I think that goes into what we were talking about before, how going into season 2, we want our characters to go into this season, some people having these connections,
Yeah,
so that
'cause it matters
sets our
more.
stakes higher right
Yeah.
at the beginning.
No,
than
I
what it did
agree.
in the past. And I think something, now that I do kind of have an expectation for season 2, I think if I had any, it would be for us as a whole to slow down. Because I feel like we sit here and we play for like 2 to 4 hours, depending on what we're doing. And I feel like we get into these positions sometimes where we're like, oh, like we really just kind of like speed along and go, like we want to get to, if we haven't had any combat, we're like, we want to get into a situation where we might have some sort of excitement. Like you were saying, where it's like we need to be able to just sit down and take X amount of time to have that conversation with another character and nobody else be worried about spending 30 minutes on a smaller role-playing moment.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's really going to build a lot.
the small things, the small things become the big things later
Correct.
down the line.
I totally agree. And actually, if it came to my turn to talk about what I would like to get out of this year,
Yeah.
you guys just took away all my fears. Like, I feel like that was one of my big things, is really getting the group to bond and to feel connected to each other and to sort of role play out stories with each other and to develop connections, because I feel like those connections are what create the investment, not the fear of being thrown out of a game.
Yeah.
So that's really going to mean a lot. I am, though, I have to say, I'm going to throw my curveball out there now, and this is for you guys out there that are sitting there watching this. One of my expectations that I'm looking forward to, because I love chance operations, I love rolling dice, I love unpredictability to some degree, which is why some of the newer systems that are out there for gaming I'm really interested in, where you have to sort of roll with quick changes. But that being said, I'm going to make this the type of game where at times during our gameplay, the audience is going to be able to either help you or harm you in some way. We'll get to that down the road. That's not going to be early on, but they're also going to be able to vote on how certain things go through polls in the chat, which I am really excited about. Now, like I said, building that into the actual mechanics of this stream is going to be tricky. So again, we are going to be streaming on the first and third Tuesdays of every month. I'd love to say I'm going to have it all set to go by next stream. I will not, but I'll have some component of it in place. We're going to ease into those waters, okay? So I think that's going to be fun. So I think it's kind of cool to throw a little bit of it to the audience. You could be in big trouble.
That's so exciting.
It's kind of like Hunger Games,
If the audience hates your character, you're gonna die.
Well, you're wounded in a tree and you need a healing potion, and someone can magically send it to you.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. I have a plan.
I really do love that concept.
That's really cool.
I hope the audience
like
likes
a-
it as much as we
me.
do.
like a favor of the gods. Kind
Yeah.
of thing.
A favor, exactly that.
Yeah.
The gods reach down into the game field. It's sort of like Clash of the Titans.
Yes.
Exactly, yes.
Where the hand
Yes.
just reaches
Oh,
down
yeah.
and places the
Zeus
statue.
just puts Cerberus down on everything.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Where's our little mechanical owl?
Yeah, I know. That would be
do
perfect.
need
You got to go to Amakora for that.
We need
That's
a
a whole
mascot.
Clockwork City.
Duly noted.
Yes.
We have a mascot. He comes out every 8 days?
8 days, yeah.
He's a
Big
little
old
bloodhound.
slobbery bloodhound.
Dog.
I thought that was our mushroom horse.
So, in keeping with the session zero, tradition, I know we have played together for a long time, and I think we already know the answer to this question. But I'm putting it out there so that the audience recognizes that we also deal with this. But is there any content that's off limits for us? Do we all know each other well enough to understand our boundaries? But I think maybe we should just put that out there. Is there content that's off limit for us?
For me, I usually I stray away from using assault as a story element.
Fair.
My
Yeah.
own comfortability.
Yep. That's definitely off the table. Anybody else? Okay. You guys should do that.
I feel like we all kind of have in our heads, because we've played so long together, like you said, we know certain things that are just line crossers.
Yeah.
Like you said, assault and things like that. I don't think it would cross any of our minds to use that.
Yeah.
Like whether acting on it or in backstory. So I think it's hard for us to come up like on the spot with these. But we all kind of
Rule
know.
number 6. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're all pretty much in agreement that, like, you know, hate speech and all that kind of stuff is kind of out. You know, like
minors, like anything, like in game, if you're playing like a 400-year-old character, you're not gonna have relations with a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
See, but like that's what I mean. Like,
Basically, don't be a freak.
don't be an awful person.
wait a minute.
Like,
I mean,
But
can we define freak though?
okay, you can be a freak.
Rude
Don't
was
be
a
a freak.
freak.
Don't make it.
Okay, that's crazy.
Don't be
was
a
a
gnarly
freak.
freak.
Look, I can get pretty freaky, just not like the one Olivia described. But anyway,
Look,
Like, just don't go
not
400-year-old freak. You know, like,
Yeah.
Don't go the lonely old man from the bulletin board.
Oh my god. Okay.
So we like that guy. Pervert. You know?
so I just want to say this. I put this out there.
Stop.
I put this out there because I think it's good to set an example to show that this is what we do.
Yeah,
Right?
and but not to like totally throw a curveball in this conversation, but this is what they talked about on some of the panels at PAX that I went to with like accessibility and things like that.
Yeah.
It was heavily talked about. Like the one I went to was you guys went to, the sad stories. And that whole panel was just talking about why it's important to tell sad stories, but how to do it correctly so that it's not damaging to you as the player when it comes to like how your character can bleed into your person. And they talked a lot about, you know, how you set boundaries with yourself, how you set boundaries with your table, the relationship that you have with your DM and the comfortability to talk about these things.
Yeah.
So I think it's totally great of you to bring up that point here.
Cool. Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm looking at my list of things that we're going to be covering.
Cool.
Well, we've pretty much covered all of that. Now, for those of you that are watching, when we play, and every other week we're going to be doing something else, but when we play Dungeons & Dragons, we have a lot of house rules in effect. So you might see us utilize a mechanic that blatantly goes against something that's talked about in the rule book, or you might see that I've banned a couple of spells. Silvery Barb.
That's my fault.
Yeah. But if you do see that,
welcome.
understand that it's probably a conscious choice, but definitely feel free to type it in the chat and be like, you know, yo, that's not the way this works. And we'll be like, okay. But yeah.
And then you can argue with Garret.
Okay.
Garrett's our rules lawyer, so
We'll just say okay.
yeah, we'll just say okay.
Probably ignore it, but you know.
All right, so we're coming up on our break period. Listen, when we come back from our break, I just want to kind of entice everybody. Plus, we've got some goodies on the break for you. So, number one, on the break, I've got a couple of cool videos to show you. Number two, some of our people in our group are going to be interacting with the chat, which will be cool. Number three, I've got a camera in the studio here that points the whole series. That's kind of fun. But after break, we are going to be revealing what characters we're going to be playing. We are going to be talking about some interesting bonds that exist between them that may be new. And then I'm going to send everybody home with homework tonight. They're going to be going home with a connection to one person directly that we will start off session 1 with in 2 weeks. So I say we take a break. And when we come back from break, we can do all of that. All right?
Sweet.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm going to fumble with some equipment to see if I can get us to go to break.
Ready, set,
We'll
break.
see you guys in a few.
Break.
Break time.
is made for roughly a 10th level character, which is a bit more powerful. Finally, the third tier, the perfected tier, is meant for use for about a 15th level character. This is when it starts to get insane. Today we're talking about the Hellfire Shard. In its discovered tier, it is a wondrous item and is rare that requires attunement by a sorcerer. This item is a small orange crystal shard that radiates an unmistakably painful hellish heat. Thin wisps of black smoke occasionally drift off it, and a crimson flame dances within. As an action, you can affix it to a tiny object. While you have it equipped in this way, you can use it as a spellcasting focus, and you also gain the following perk: Hellfire Projection. While attuned to this item, you can cast the Burning Hands spell without expending a spell slot once per day. At its improved tier, the Hellfire Shard keeps its original perks and features, as well as gaining a new perk in the form of Chains of Torment. While attuned to this item, you can expend 2 sorcery points to cause fiery chains to erupt from the ground nearby a creature of your choosing. The targeted creature must succeed on a saving throw against your spell save DC, or be restrained and take 1d10 fire damage on a failed save. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage and is not restrained. And finally, in its perfected form, the Hellfire Shard retains its standard abilities as well as Hellfire Projection and Chains of Torment, as well as gaining its final perk, Screams from the Nine. You can channel the power of Punished Pain. When you take damage from a melee attack, you can expend your reaction to cause a burst of anguish to spread from you. Each creature within a 15-foot radius must succeed on a Constitution saving throw, or take 2d8 psychic damage. After you use this feature, you cannot use it again until you finish a long rest. And that's that for the Hellfire Shard. Currently, we don't have awesome art for this awesome item. We do, however, have a link to our Discord server in the description of this video, which you can use to access and send us awesome art. But don't worry, we will never use your art without permission or compensation. So submit away and let's see what you've got. And this has been Bag of Holding. Please like and subscribe, join our Discord server, all of the things. We would love to have you on at any adventures here at Wither and Bloom Studios.
That is not what I wanted to do.
Good.
Good.
Stop watching your feed on your phone, Eric.
Such a mess. Here we go. All right, we're back, everybody.
We're back.
A few technical difficulties in there, but we did hit 600 subs on that, so did it. Appreciate that. All right, so we said that when we came back from break, we were going to get into introducing the characters that we're going to be playing in this season and how things are going to change a little bit. And then more importantly, the part I'm most interested in is how you're going to be sort of bonded together this time around, how things are going to switch a little bit. Now, to sort of summarize or at least to contextualize this, there has been 1 month of downtime since the big bad was defeated for season 1. So this means that the party is in and around the city of Pils, P-I-L-S, and it's up to you over the next 2 weeks to decide how your silhouette is going to unfold. But before we do that, we need to know who you are. Olivia.
Does the audience know that we don't know who's staying and who's changing? So this is like just as much a surprise for us as it is for them.
I think that's I'm glad you said that.
It's really great to have them know that. That's why we're all kind of like losing it
but
over
like,
here.
as the little backstory with that, when we all went into this like different plane of existence with the mushrooms, we were all by ourselves. So instead of being in the whole group, we were alone, and Todd would not let us speak to one another about whether or not we were keeping our characters or changing them.
It was torturous.
We
had to talk in hypotheticals.
No, yeah.
We have theories, I feel, but we don't know for sure who's staying and who's going.
Do we want to share theories?
Ooh, yeah. That'd be
Wait, should we?
We can take bets around the table.
You want to take bets on who's staying and who's going?
Yeah, I think that'd be funny.
Are we taking bets?
No, not like actual bets.
So
but
I'm
like,
broke.
I will not be back.
I will wager 1 Cheeto.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, but I mean...
Yeah, should we go around the table and just be like,
But like really quick.
yeah.
Go first, Eddie.
Go.
Wait,
Okay.
I got a way to do this. You guys can all vote. You ready? How many people think that Eric will be keeping Thrud? Raise your hand. How many people think that Garret will be keeping Branmorn?
I don't.
Interesting.
I
Not
don't.
everybody.
I'm hoping.
I kind of hope so, but I don't think he's going to.
The heart of the party.
Now, Rich is at the table, which we know that Rich was not at the table for the better half of the end of season 1. So I guess we kind of know that you're... How many people think that Rich will be bringing back Tryphon?
Oh, interesting. So interesting, guys.
Okay.
I don't know why we would all agree.
That works. How many people think that Nathan will be playing Cersei again? That's a split. That's kind of split. Okay. How many people think that Olivia will be bringing?
Oh my God!
The Pucklight attack Todd.
Down.
How many people think that Olivia will be bringing back
Yeah,
Remy?
that puck light was serious about that. I'm voting with the puck light.
Actually, I don't know if I'm taking my vote back.
You're taking it back.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute. So what was the vote on Olivia?
I voted keeping.
It was just,
2 to keep and 3 to change. Oh, that's kind of an interesting one. Okay. And how many people think that Atticus will be bringing back Breck, Colin,
I'm sorry.
Wait.
What's the second? Who the
Colin.
fuck is Colin?
You bring back Wretch?
I'm not. No, because I cannot do the wretch voice consistently.
So you know
once
they thought
right now.
about it.
Do it.
What should I say?
Do it.
Do it. It's terrible.
How many people think that Addie will be playing one of their original characters? How about that?
one person, 2 people, 3 people. Okay.
Okay, fools. Anyway.
If Addie's given the chance to make a new character, I feel like they will make new characters.
That's exactly
That's
right.
where I'm at.
Exactly right.
I almost like
You're like, ooh, another build.
How
can I optimize?
Use Todd on my game.
So okay, so let's figure this out. So first of all, I think we should go around the table and introduce who we are, what we're playing, because we're going to kind of get into it a little bit, right?
Let's do it.
What do you guys feel
All right,
comfortable? Well, wait.
Why do I have to start?
Pause.
Hang on. What do you all feel comfortable revealing about your character in session 0? Because I think we need to reveal something so that we know what we're going home with, but I don't necessarily think you have to reveal it all, right?
I'm not fully built, I must say.
I think
Through this,
I think reveal.
she's jacked.
I think reveal what you're comfortable with.
I think reveal what comfortable with, but I think as a base, name, species, and class.
And then
Yeah, that's
anything
fair.
else, if
Anything
you
else
want
they
to
want to
share.
do?
Fair.
So, like, if you're bringing back, so, like, when you come back with fruit, if you want to say, like, this is little minor lore points that happened in season 1. And if you're building a new character,
Why are you pointing at me?
then you can say
Point
any
at
little
yourself.
minor lore
You're cooked,
points
bro.
that you have made.
Alternatively, we should definitely do a physical description.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
the
everybody
character
that's
looks
watching
like.
needs to know what the characters look like. All right, so
Where's the
name,
mini?
species, class,
Yeah, give it to
physical
me.
description.
He's a minotaur.
You want to start us off?
How's it always this side of
Yeah,
the
we
table?
all
Atticus.
Wait,
Oh, boy.
Atticus. I agree. Let's start off with
Okay, some suspense around fruit.
It's one of the Fioritos either way.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm nervous.
In season 2 of Wither and Bloom Studios campaign, I will be playing Electo Tis.
another one.
A Fury?
That's going to be your nickname from now on.
Electo live.
Electric tits? Sorry. Write that down.
You're welcome. Okay, so go on.
Write that down.
Crazy. All right, can you describe the Electo?
Electo is a halfling rogue.
Typical.
Electo is a 3 foot tall, very pale skinned halfling. One eye is kind of an Athenian gray, and the other is a bright green. She has kind of faded brunette hair tied back in a low ponytail. She wears standard black, gray, and brown, mostly gray and a greenish brown leather armor. There's a grayish black cloak that hangs down from her shoulders down her backside, and she has 2 blades, one of which is a slightly larger scimitar with a bit of a curve to it, and the other is a straight short sword.
Nice.
Exciting.
Excellent. Welcome, Electotis. Olivia, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I'll go
I
next.
do it on purpose.
Okay. So, hi. Did you say your name again? Like, hi, I'm Atticus? Like,
Sure.
whatever. So, for season 2, I will be coming back as playing Remy Blackwood. And for those who are not familiar with Remy, and she has had a little bit of an upgrade, and I cannot believe how similar we are in a lot of ways. Remy is a druid rogue.
You needed rogue again?
And she's a satyr. I did need rogue again.
The sneak attack is gonna go
I know,
crazy.
it's gonna go crazy.
Oh
and we
my
didn't
God.
talk, so
No.
this is a little while.
Oh, the rogue corner.
Yeah, this is
So to be
crazy.
clear, you're taking a subclass.
I'm taking a subclass in
Right.
rogue.
Multi-class?
Yeah, multi-class.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yes.
Dope.
So Remy, for those who don't know, she is a satyr, so she's half goat. She has 2 horns that kind of spiral out a little bit. They have a little flair to them. She is overall a light brown tan kind of color with longer red hair that has 2 braids that kind of go from the front and into the back around the horns. Green eyes. She's dressed in fairly nice, but at this point rather tattered clothing. She wears a green and purple dress and a cloak that goes around to kind of shield her from things that happened in season 1. She has a quarterstaff that kind of comes up to like a little bit of a blade at the top that's covered in greenery. I think that's pretty much my girl. That's it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. There she is. She used to have an amulet, and she broke it in season 1. So.
Wonder how that happened.
I wonder how that happened.
Wonder how that happened.
Go back and watch that.
Swear to God.
Nathan?
So,
Don't break my heart, Nathan.
I'm not breaking your heart because I am bringing back my girl Circe.
Yo!
The one we love to hate.
Way too. Fuck, man. Listen. She still hasn't breathed the shit out of her lungs.
I know.
Anyway, my girl's way too strong, way too resilient. She is a wood elf sorcerer. She's got an attitude and a lot of love, but she doesn't know how to show it. She is, we've determined, really stupid tall. Let's say like 6'6".
Remy's mildly
She in the
taller.
WNBA.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, 6'6".
No,
So we are a
actually,
good
she's
match.
shorter than you. She's
Yeah,
shorter than you.
you see, I never put that much attention into what Circe looks like. She's just a floating orb in my mind. But 6'6", classic pointy ears.
Maybe you can come in with a good description on
Yeah.
session 1.
Yeah, but
No, I'm just
no,
saying.
you're
My
right.
bad, you're right.
But she keeps her hair nicely braided around the sides in thick braids, and she tries to keep herself as presentable but modest as possible. It's hard when you're on the road and fighting all the time to keep your clothes nice and to keep your appearance pleasant, but having come from a wealthy and scholarly family, it's important to her that she looks nice, presentable, even professional. So,
Hell yeah.
yeah,
Dope.
Exciting.
We have work to do.
we do.
Oh, she always has a
Christ.
bottle of wine in her hand.
Oh my gosh, she's
Okay.
an alcoholic.
Listen,
Is she allowed? Is she allowed to use
She's been off the
her
sauce.
sorcery points and all her
she
class
is
features?
now okay. So she does have a so she's coming back with a mentor. Let's just say she can look. Never mind. Never mind.
Back there?
Holding back there.
Interesting.
She has a point of contact
We'll find that out in character.
in character very soon.
Interesting.
Way to tease it.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I love teasing.
Oh my god.
Stop. My dad, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between.
Nice.
Okay.
Is it time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rich.
Oh my god.
You're going to be playing Rich?
Yes, I'm playing myself. I am going to be playing Papillon.
Oh, no.
Wait, what? Wait, who?
His name is Papillon, and Papillon is half human, half bat.
Wait, hold on.
Papillon is also a monk, and he is a tall, regal-looking fellow, and Papillon likes to have his hair in kind of a controlled mess, as one might say, and he wears nice, expensive clothing, but little do people know he knows his way around martial arts. Papillon has a hopeful, youthful, one might say sheltered look about his eyes, and I am very excited to see how he mixes with the group.
She's gonna abuse that.
I love him already.
Already.
I love him already.
Love it.
I'm going to give a more detailed description in session 1, but that's it.
Oh my god.
Papillons.
Papillon.
All I'm saying is just based off of your name, you're getting called Poppy.
Poppy and Electro no tits.
Well,
This is a party, yes.
This is
Going to be
great.
number one good time.
New characters.
Poppy, we've got electric tits, and if Thrud comes back to the table, we've used the word mommy a couple of times.
Puppy and
We got
mommy.
Poppy and mommy.
No.
We'll see what happens.
Let's see if Lollipop
Ay,
comes
ay, ay.
It's going to be wonderful season.
Well,
Is,
speaking of lollipop,
are you back?
hi, I'm Garret. I will be coming back as Brandon.
Okay, I was wrong.
Yes.
At,
Oh.
wow.
So that means Thrud is definitely back.
Lollipop is getting thrown around the table. We'll just drop it in the description, I guess. Brandmorn is a Eladrin elf, so currently when we left the game, Eladrin's changed colors. He was very green toned, crazy green hair, like, you know, almost looking like a flame kind of going up in the air.
Like a lollipop. Yeah.
Like a lollipop,
Yeah, right.
very like purple and green and crazy colors. We did throw a cloak on to kind of tame it down a little bit mid-season, but got the nickname of Lollipop. We kind of tossed that out the window at one point, but
There's another one. Remember the other one?
well, there's Risky Business. There were a couple of names. There were a couple of names.
Arby?
Arby's?
Yeah, he does some,
We have the meat.
he does some risky shit, but a warlock. He's a warlock. Doesn't really know much about his patron. Hopefully, we find out more in this season.
Yeah.
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 And that's about it.
Bust it.
I want to find out more. You know, I want to go more on my character.
Hell yeah.
So
Nice.
that's that.
All right. Come on.
Is it me?
Let's see.
All right.
Bring it on.
My name's Eric, and I'm going to be playing a male hill dwarf called Dearth. Nah, I'm fucking with you. I'm back as Thrud.
I was so sad.
The gender swap.
Yeah, I heard
right?
male.
And I went from the hill, you know.
And you reverse the letters in the name.
Yeah.
Earth.
Yeah.
Dearth, that's fine.
Thanks.
That's
I'm
good.
glad you picked up on that.
I clocked that.
I had to write it down in front of me because I was
far
like,
too
I'm
wrapped
gonna
up in my
totally
emotions.
Reading over here on his tablet.
Yeah, so Thrud is a mountain dwarf, Forged Domain cleric, and she hails from Frostholm, the region up in the north. She is quite concerned with making sure that artisanship trumps things above all. If you make shit, she thinks you are shit. So she's everyone makes poop, but some people make shit.
Can we write that down, please?
Yeah.
I want that on a shirt.
That's the slogan.
Yeah,
Charging one of you audience members with keeping a quote book if you're a regular in the chat.
Yes.
We need a
we
quote book.
can
please.
tip that off as
Every-
Thrud's
Hold us
number one.
accountable for the horrors that escape our mouths.
Yes, yes.
Some people make.
Make shit.
So Thrud is very stout
quotes
in
channel.
nature. She's got
Facts.
she's got the full beard, silverish beard, some pattern baldness up top, but she has long braids that she keeps up in two buns on her head, and she currently has a very wonderful battle axe named Tyr that in towards the end of season 1 she created a new weaponry that was how you say augmented onto Tyr, a chakram type of device that was made out of two ores that are central to her backstory, Malks and Lorterate. So stay tuned to see how that comes into play. Think a short Xena warrior princess.
Hell yeah.
With an
And
attitude.
who also, these assholes have, wormed their way into her heart, and despite her gruff exterior, she has grown quite fond of all these little children.
We've been
and
cracking that shell
That's
a little
mama.
bit.
Yeah.
she does have a tendency
We've
to
been
take
cracking
care
that
of
shell.
everyone and be the den mother.
Yeah.
I gotta say, the reactions to some of you keeping your characters were really made me feel good. Like the fact that some of you are sticking around and everybody was so pleased with that. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Man,
All right,
I even
so-
got a little peck on the cheek.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, right? I gotta say,
pretty
I
excited
almost
about
got
that.
100% on my guesses.
Did you?
I almost did. I thought you were leaving. I wanted you to stay, but I thought you were leaving. But everybody else, I got right.
I think I had 100%.
I totally
knew
thought you were
Rich,
getting rid
so
of
I
Remy.
couldn't really
I thought
vote
you were
on
getting rid of
that.
Cersei
Yeah.
until like yesterday. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna.
Yeah.
Get it.
I can't believe you made a new character.
I can.
I can.
I can't believe.
That was the easiest.
No, if I had a nickel for every time in a campaign run by Todd, I have played 3 characters, the first of which uses he pronouns, the second of which uses they pronouns, and the third of which uses she pronouns, I'd have 2 nickels, which is weird.
But it
It twice.
Yeah, but campaigns are long, so it's that kind of regularity across that kind of span.
Crazy.
Yeah,
It's huge.
you're predictable.
Oh my god.
It's a party of girls.
We're the only guys.
I gotta
That's
deal with
badass.
Papillon
That's
over here.
badass.
Is the only guy in the party.
Sucks to suck.
Oh my god.
Let's go, ladies.
Super determined.
We gotta stick together.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
All right, so let's see. If we were to kind of develop some bonds, if you guys had some connections now, and I think especially with, we have Alecto and we have Papillon, I wonder what those bonds would be. And I think that's going to be the challenge right there. The 2 new characters and how those 2 new characters relate to this group.
Can I put a vote in?
Absolutely.
Considering the way that the last campaign ended, the way that we're going to start this one, Thrud and I had the most connection.
Agreed.
Remy and Cersei had the most connection. And the 2 new people, I think, should come in
I'd be
together.
fun. It'd be fun to
If you guys are open to that.
I like that.
I couldn't have thought of a better idea.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
We kind of set it up for us.
Kind of.
And then also we get to chat about how do Alecto and Papillon know each other.
And everything's wide open because we never played them before.
Dog, you're half bat.
What are you again? I know you're
I'm a
wrong, but
halfling.
Okay.
I'm a 3-foot tall half
I
bat.
just carry
So
you around.
Remy is fine.
Dude, yeah, I am 1,000% open. I am 1,000% open to Alecto being fastball specialist.
Oh my gosh.
So I think this is interesting, okay? First of all, I would encourage you guys to, number one, especially the 2 new guys, the 2 new characters, for Alecto and Papillon, consider your relationship to Pills, which is going to be the town that everybody is in, but also consider the potential connections you would have to the story you already know exists, right? So for one, we're all going to have some kind of alliance with whether or not we believe one continent or the other continent is right or just in its pursuits, right? We all have this kind of division that we all sort of stand on one side or the other. Pick that for yourselves, right? Maybe make it something that you either bond over or something that, I prefer it not be something you bicker about, but it could be something you have differences about. Maybe you have deep intellectual discourse about the differences between those 2 things. I frankly don't care. I'm just giving you some ideas for what to do there.
Right. Yeah.
Should we start talking about those bonds, possibly asking questions, that kind of stuff?
We can, but can we do it in a way that, we take turns where we're not all talking over one another?
of course. Yeah,
That sounds perfect.
Cool, because I'd like to be able to keep track of the conversation.
I do also have prompt cards on the Lazy Susan.
Yeah.
If you wanted to use them. Those cards have questions about your past, your present, your companions, your dreams, and 2 other categories that I cannot remember, but they're on the left.
There's the X card.
So we, I wrote down the names
Should we grab some of these?
on the post-it note for reference over here.
Why would you do that?
And
Why did you write that at the bottom?
I had to transfer Mulberry over onto the name sheet so that if Mulberry ever needs to get referenced again.
The cat?
Yes, the cat, and it says RAP next to it.
The cat that Tryphon
It's-
murked?
Yep.
It's right here on this note.
I've been trying to
So
get over
this is
that.
season
I've been in
1's
therapy
name.
trying to get over Mulberry,
Okay. So we have. I already read those.
That much bleed over again.
Wait, can I actually?
That you
You
threw out of the
hand
window
me
once.
6 random cards
out the window.
Do you want one from each category?
out the
Sure.
window.
Okay, because there's 6 categories.
So-
Yeah,
Okay,
those are
go
perfect.
random was that. Here's a random that one.
You just picked her up.
Oh, the other
We're
category
gonna
is
have to split you
hypothetical.
guys.
So
No.
You're
Peter's
sticking
gonna be all
different seats next
over
week.
No.
Yeah.
We'll stop.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
Dave.
different
Yeah, we are.
seats.
No.
It's like the
not
cat
gonna
videos
work.
with
It's not gonna
straws.
work.
It's been very distracting, I must say.
All right.
We're good.
I gotta say.
We're good.
Pass those to
You're
Todd.
not
Those are all
separating the
random, so
bears.
if they suck,
It's all
I'm
bad.
sorry.
No, it's all good.
Nothing changes on this side of the table.
So these are prompts for conversation starters, right?
Yes.
And then we've got 6 categories. We've got your dreams, your world, hypotheticals, your past, your present, and your companions. So I would say that I'm going to just kind of shuffle the deck here. Right?
There's
And
one
then-
from each category.
And
totally
I'll
random.
tell you what, you guys that are out there watching, this comes at a really opportune time because Rich, who has been making a great series on role playing called Dungeon Dramatics, and he just is about to release a video on Thursday.
At 3 p.m. Thursday at 3 p.m.
Thursday at 3 p.m. on the 50 questions your character should be able to answer if they're going to be playing in a campaign. It's actually quite good. So look for that. All right, Eric, I'm going to start with you, and I'm drawing the top card off
I think
of
that
this
might be
deck.
good for Brennan to answer.
Okay.
Dude, go through
Right?
it. Check it out.
Yeah.
All right, here we
I
go.
should go through it.
And this is from your dreams, which you have recurring dreams in
Yes.
the campaign, so this is perfect.
Uh-oh.
Whose respect would you most like to earn? And then there's a sub-question that says, what do you imagine you will need to do in order to earn it?
Ooh.
Odd question for you.
It is.
Yeah, because I feel like she doesn't want respect from like.
She just wants, I think through mostly wants respect from herself.
Ouch.
Deep as fuck.
Yeah, there's, her father and her have issue, and, her father did not really endorse the artisanship way. It was very plain farmer. Really, her grandfather was the one that instilled all these things in her. But I think ultimately she's looking for that approval from herself. And, maybe that's part of the artist's journey, to always push oneself a little bit further and to get to that next level and accomplish something deeper for themselves. But I think she's on the fence about what she can really do to affect her world. And,
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Because that was going to be the next question is what do you think you would need to do to earn that respect? But it sounds like you answered that in the question. It's like about pushing yourself, and it's about sort of being on the fence about pushing yourself.
Yeah, she kind of rides this whole like where she is in the moment, but also has this thing that's always kind of gnawing at her in the background that she knows that she's got to get to at some point in time.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of key points in how she will go about that, but
Gotcha.
it's in the background, always worrying in the back of her head, gnawing at her a little bit.
Good to know. I actually wasn't aware of that, but now I will exploit that.
Great. Oh, so this is actually like
evil
all
professional.
boys.
This
Cool
is
for the DM.
yeah. This is everyone like loading a shot in the Todd.
Watching the stream
bullet
at
with your
4 in the
name on it.
morning, like
All right, Garret, I'm going to do Branmore next. Branmore's card is your companions.
Interesting.
And the question is, who in your group do you think will, and then there are 2 questions to follow it up. Who in your group do you think will live the longest and then likely die the soonest?
Easy.
And then why?
It's crazy.
Ooh, that's a tough question.
You can't talk about the new people.
See, I don't really know the new people,
So I guess
so
it's
that's
us 3.
difficult.
Just talking about turnover.
I mean,
But you know the people who play the new people.
no, I know that.
That
But
should be
honestly,
able to inform your decision.
I think this is the easiest one to answer. Is to die first. Would be Cersei.
You're squishy.
Cersei has
Okay.
experienced so many near-death encounters already.
No, this is your question. Go ahead.
That I think it might just one day happen.
Catch up to her one day.
It might just catch up to you one day.
No, it might happen.
Sometimes Cersei can be a little chaotic in the way that
Maybe we should use you, Lollipop, as a shield of sorts.
Okay.
She'll be fine.
Okay.
So we're getting defensive.
Yeah.
So who's gonna then who lives?
Lives the longest.
I feel like that's a really hard one.
I honestly wanted to point towards Thrud because she's like, I mean, she's got that old soul ready kind of to her, and it's like, yeah, I think she would just like, she'd be that grumpy old grandma in like 200 years.
Yeah,
Pigeon toes and a big old humpback. Pissed off at the world.
Yeah, pissed off at the world and just telling stories, and I mean,
So funny.
yeah, I would have to go with Thrud on that. Was there another part to that question?
Well,
Was
the
that-
why, but you kind of built that into your answer.
I kind of built that in.
Okay.
I don't know.
Nice.
Sorry, Cersei.
No, it's all right. I understand. I do go down quick.
All right, Papillon, I'm going to come to you next. Now, I don't know what this question is going to be, but I think you're going to have to explore a little bit because you are new to the group. So, and your card is your present. This is a good one. At the end of your life, would you rather be proud of your accomplishments or your integrity? And what makes you feel that way?
I think that Papillon would be proud of his integrity over anything else. I think that he's a character that comes from a lot. He comes from a well-known family who has accomplished a lot, and he's seen what reaching those type of pinnacles can do for a family and what it can't do. And he knows that beyond accomplishments lies integrity, and that lasts much longer than any accomplishments.
I love that.
Sweet.
Okay, good answer. Good answer. You've obviously done your homework on the very video you've made. Nice. All right, Nathan.
Yeah.
We'll do Circe next, and your card is your past.
Please, I need info on Cersei's past.
No, literally.
This is a multi-part question.
Okay.
It starts out with, in your family, who was the
Jesus.
odd one out?
You.
What was your relationship with them? And if it was you, who in your family was closest to you?
Interesting.
Well, Circe's family she was an only child of two parents who were both professors of a sort of like a university setting, but like also custodians of the knowledge of the whole city of Eldergrove. Right? So she grew up around all this knowledge, and while her parents were trying to share it with everybody and enable everybody to learn and become better people through learning, she just wanted to sit and not talk to anybody and just read and read and read and read and read. So really she was, I guess she would be the odd one out. And was the follow-up to that,
If it was you, who in your family was closest to you?
I guess it would just be herself. Really, she had this tree beyond the outskirts of the city that she would run to and climb, and with a satchel full of books, she would just sit in and read and drink in the knowledge for hours and hours and hours and
Drinking
the knowledge.
yeah, okay. But
Young.
We all looked at each other.
Yeah, we did.
yeah, she started on the
courage,
bottle young.
really.
But anyway, but she kept herself company and
That's so
satiated her hungry mind.
Okay.
Aw.
Nice.
Well, Cersei.
Okay, Remy's gonna go next. I have two cards left.
horrified because I
Two
don't know what
characters
these are
left.
left.
And this is yours. And yours is your world. And the question is, what do you feel is the most dangerous sort of natural disaster, and what makes it so dangerous? Now, for a druid, I think that's actually a really interesting question.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
Sharknado.
This is such a different question than what everybody else
I know.
has gotten.
I know.
Did you say Sharknado?
Yeah, he did.
Well, it's funny that this is my question. I feel like we all ended up getting a question that was very pointed to our characters, which was interesting. Especially what went on in season 1. I feel like, so if we're talking natural disaster, I feel like any time, and I don't know if this is like qualifies as a disaster, but any type of like excessive drought, I think is what would impact Remy and what Remy would fear the most. Definitely seeing everything dead that we walked through, that was worrisome and troublesome. So I feel like any type of excessive drought.
Okay. I like that. What makes that so dangerous? I mean, everything would die, of course, but is there any more to that?
I mean, well-being of people aside, because that is a very important issue. Remy spends a lot of the time, she finds comfort in like the lush wilderness, and that's where she likes to meditate, and that's where, you know, she feels grounded. And when there's nothing there, it's almost like she loses a bit of life with the world.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Atticus, for Electo, I have one card left.
Okay.
And your card is Hypotheticals.
Ooh.
Okay.
This is such a good card for Addie to have.
Okay.
Can we...
Actually, this is a good one.
When did this become the roast of Addie?
Ready?
Always.
If you were suddenly in the news tomorrow, what do you think the story would be about?
Oh my god.
This is a great way to sort of give a future profile of your character.
Ooh.
This is really good.
For Electo?
Beanie.
You are a rogue.
I am a rogue. Beanie, maybe. I don't know. I think...
Beating the shit out of a clown.
What is happening right now?
Can I answer the question? Okay. So is it specifically for a crime?
No,
It's in
it
the
just said
news.
if you were suddenly in the news tomorrow,
It could
what
be
do you
good.
think it would be about?
If
be good.
Electo was suddenly in the news, I think for Electo specifically, if she was in the news, I think it would probably be some form of public disturbance. not like how Rich is thinking or how Nathan is thinking.
Right. Like a namesake sort of thing?
Possibly some form of protest, but also stemming from a certain personal irritability. Like if there was something deep within Electo that was contested in a public space, she would hold her ground.
Okay.
And that would be noteworthy.
I love that. That says so much about her.
Yeah. You know, this is a real... I love this deck of cards.
I know, and there's so many more
What
in
a
there.
great way to really dig in.
Let's go again.
We could,
We have time to go again?
I'm down.
we could spend a whole like session
We could do
just
doing
answering
these cards.
cards.
Well, we are planning, not right away, but in a couple of months, we're going to be starting a segment that will be on recapping the sessions of the game. And it might not be with all of us. We might, like, you know, do two people do a segment and reflect on last week's game. And then maybe it's three people another time. But this could be an interesting way to flesh out, you know, the way a character feels towards the party about a situation or so on and so forth. I love that.
Or, yes. I
Yes.
like that idea. I
And-
also don't know what we have on. Yeah, yes, and I don't know what's on our calendar, but we could do it next week before session 1.
Well, that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so the homework for our next session, for session 1, will be for you to pair off with your respective partner, for lack of a better word.
Fucking work.
So we've got
We have like a
Branmorn and
15-page essay of
Thrud.
work.
We've got Papillon and Electo. And we've got Circe and Remy together as
Classic
the
duo.
silhouettes that will be coming into play when we come back for week session 1. All right? So I got to say this: if you're out there and you have not subscribed yet, first of all, subscriber count tonight was really nice. Thank you very much for following.
That was awesome.
I did try to put a Discord link in the chat. I will do that because you guys should be in the Discord as well. But we really appreciate you all watching. Now, a couple of little plugs here. So like I said before, this campaign is called Rising. We will be live on the first and third Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So definitely come back and join us. You're going to see a lot of interesting stuff happen on this channel, I think. 2, every Sunday morning we record a podcast called iCast Guidance, where we talk about issues in the game. We might bring up a rule that we think is broken and talk about how to improve it. Sometimes we talk about the culture of gaming, but we record that on Sunday mornings and then we drop that on Monday mornings. You can pick that up on all your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the list goes on and on. So look for that. And we will be shooting that live very soon. So the recording of that podcast will actually be a live session shortly. So we're getting to that as well. Thank you guys so much. You guys, this was really fun tonight.
Yeah,
We're also on other social medias. We're on Instagram and TikTok at Wither and Bloom Studios. It's the same username on all platforms.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, you guys, this was great. I thank all of you. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. We really appreciate it. Thanks to our moderators tonight, Finn and Elias. You guys are awesome. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And we will talk to you in 2 weeks, everybody. All right.
Pocket Bar.
Oh,
Oh my God!
thank you. Oh my God.
Plug of season 2.
Thank you so much to Pocket Bard. If you are out there and you are running your game, okay, check out Pocket Bard. Go look up the app. It is a beautiful app with seamless musical transitions. That's been what's running the music in our background right now. We use it during our game. We have used it during our live sessions. So we love it. So check out Pocket Bard. We love you guys. Thanks to all of you. And we will talk to you really soon. All right? Take care, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
And we're off.